Hello, my friends. Wow, what is this sound? Just 1 second, let me mute this one. Okay, there we go. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Maybe somebody can give me an indication here that I'm actually live, because I don't have any feedback. So, as you can see, great. Linda. Hello, Linda. Rafael from Rafael. Yeah, from Scotland. Manuela. Rafael, that L with the line on it looks like a Polish L. Yeah, first time, but I'm sure you will not be disappointed. Hi, Chris, Bavaria. Yeah, so I will start talking a little bit about personalities here, which was actually my last video. And this whole subject of personalities is almost infinite, because personalities, humans, are infinite. And we can never cover it all and say, okay, now we are done. Because there is no such thing. There is no end to it. And obviously I will not go for the rest of my life talking about personalities, but there is a lot to cover. And everything that happens to you in your lives, in your reality, has like 100% or maybe 99%, if we take the programmer into account here, to do with personalities. It's your personality that determines everything. Everything that happens to you, everything you do, everything you don't do, it's all in your personality. So these are just samples of personalities here. There is much more. All right. So I don't know how many of you watched the last video about personalities. Get this funny sound once in a while here, and I have no idea where it's from. Okay, we'll have to figure it out some other time. So I also want to make a little bit of a connection here between the infinity paradox, the video that I posted probably a couple of months now, about the big secret, and this whole topic of personality. And where the connection is, the whole purpose of that video, for which I worked for a few years to come up with that idea, but the whole purpose there was to show you, or to show the whole world actually, that everything is virtual. There is absolutely nothing physical. And it says so many times in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the Torah, and in other places, but it's usually interpreted in a different way. But it says, where God says, I am the only. The way it's interpreted, it says, I'm the only one and there is no other God beside me, right? But this is not what God says. God says, I am everything. There's nothing else, nothing to do with beside me. And what it really means is that everything is virtual. Everything is like, I always say, is like in a dream, that God is dreaming, and this whole thing is in that dream. And I will give you a little analogy here, why you can actually get over your personality. Go back. It's like in the Matrix a little bit. When you get out of the Matrix, this is where you actually are the real you, right? Because in the Matrix, it's all kind of a simulated dream. And I'll give you a real example here. Let's say you take a virtual reality helmet, one of those, I think Facebook just came up, or Meta just came up with a new one for $1,500, supposedly much better resolution and all that. So suppose you don one of those on you, right? And let's say that you can now choose all kind of personalities from the past. You can be Napoleon, you can be, Genghis Khan, you can be anybody. And once you choose that personality, you get all the attributes, right? The game, the virtual reality, the software will make you believe that you actually are that. And the more you stay there and the more you play a game or do whatever, the more you get into that personality, right? But the real you is still here, right? Sitting with that helmet on you. This is the real you. And in there is not really a real you. It's something that was imposed on you and in such a way that is very convincing. But if something startles you, let's say there is an earthquake, right? Or something, or a bomb explodes outside your building, you will instantly become yourself. Like this Napoleon thing will disappear like in no time. And to a certain extent, this is what happens when people go through near-death experience. It's exactly the same thing. They are startled, right? And because the whole personality is not really a piece of hardware. Like we kind of tend, I'm talking for myself, right? Because I cannot see things through your eyes. But over time, I look at a personality almost like some kind of a hardware piece, like a package. And it's not. It's just a collection of software programs. This is all personality is. It's again, it's an analogy, right? But it's not some kind of a fixed entity. And we cannot get out of the matrix or get back to our real ourselves completely. That's not possible, at least not at this stage. The only way one can do it is basically by dying. When a person dies, this is, in essence, exactly what happens, what I described before with the virtual reality thing, right? When a person dies, then they become 100% themselves again, just out of the matrix. Now, the reason I get into all that is not just philosophical, because I also work with people every day. And many of the things I'm talking about come from my experience from that work, because I can see, and life is even a better school, that everybody I talk to has a personality, right? I can see it through the face, because again, because the whole universe is virtual, many of the, say, things that are like the software, the programs, they reflect themselves in physical objects. So, for example, I can read a face because whatever collection of programs that person has that make their personality will reflect on their face, on their body, on their fingers, on their nose, on their ears, everywhere. Because the body, the physical body, is actually assembled from the virtual, from the software. And same applies to astrology. And I talked about it before. So when I don't know much about astrology, but I know that generally the way it works is that the layout of the stars or the brightness, the layout, or any physical attributes of the stars reflect things that happen on a personal level, on a global level, on a universal level, and if it didn't have some truth in it, then it wouldn't be practiced, right? So the reason it's there and people practice it is because it actually works. And the reason it works, let me just reduce the volume a little bit. I think that maybe I'm a little bit too loud here. the reason it works is because, again, the software is reflected in the hardware. So what we also have to realize, just 1 second, I'm just trying to reduce the volume on the mic. Okay, maybe that's better. Don't want it to be too loud. Okay, because I have the mic right in front of me. So what that really means, you see, it's a one-way street. You cannot change the stars and then by doing so change the reality in the world. Or you cannot change somebody's face by, say, plastic surgery and change their personality. The personality will change a bit if we modify somebody's face, but it will not change because we modified the face. It's just, it will change because the way they see themselves. It's like changing a name. When we change a name, that doesn't change us. But as soon as people start calling us by that name, this is when we change. And where I'm driving this whole thing is maybe to give people hope that the personality, which is also the destiny in my books, is not fixed. And if you can pull yourself back, the more you can pull yourself back towards the person without the virtual reality helmet, the more you will be able to actually change your life, change your reality, and do some magic in your life, right? Even the virtual line that I usually describe, and I'll just go over it very quickly. I know that most of you saw it already, but I'll do it anyway. All right, let's see here. Just 1 second. So I got a new operating system on this iPad, so now it tells me all the new features in this program that I'm trying to run. Okay, here we go. So what that virtual line really is, the way I describe it is, I call it the line of impossibilities. And everything that's above that line, any goal, any desire, is impossible to us. We don't believe we can achieve it. Everything that's below the line, we can achieve easily. It's like making coffee or calling somebody. Any action that you normally do and you don't have an issue thinking, oh, that's impossible, okay? And the way we can achieve any of these goals is we have to bring it under the line. Now, this line is actually our personality. Or it's a very strong reflection of our personality. And when we change our personality, we actually move that line or move things from above the line to under the line, or sometimes the other way around. You know, people sometimes get, I got a comment today from somebody on YouTube. I think it was Paul Di Petro, and he was asking me questions about narcissistic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder and all these things. So when those happen to us, then actually we move lots of the things that were possible to us above the line. So that works too. It works the other way around too. I don't wish this on anybody, but this is just what happens, you know, and this is the reality. I actually work with some people that have this kind of disorders, but mostly maybe schizophrenia, and it's an eye opener that you see that you cannot really in any practical way to bring the person to see the reality the way most people see it, right? And usually what determines what's normal and abnormal in this world is the majority usually, right? Because if 99% of the people think that something is wrong, then it's then it becomes wrong. It doesn't have to be written in the Bible. All right, so at the end of the day, why I showed you the line is because you can see that everything that you are struggling or wanting or cannot achieve or it's hard to achieve, it all has to do with your personality that creates that line, right? And I'm not here on the live to actually get into this topic and make a video, but I will make probably a number of videos, and I will even bring some older topics and connect them to this personality thing, and you will see it in a totally different light. I want to show you something here. Just make sure that I have it. Let me just see. Other images. Okay, let's see if I have it here. Maybe not. All right. Oh, yeah, actually I do have it. Okay. So it's kind of a demonstration of what it means when you improve or you go higher in the hierarchy, like pulling out of the matrix a little bit. So here, for example, right, we see the top one says halogen effect, then we have HID effect and LED effect and laser effect. So different lights on a car, right? And the more you pull up over your personality, the closer you get to this laser effect light. And once you go there, once you achieve this ability, then you can actually start correcting or changing attributes in your personality. And then all of a sudden, the things that were above the line will come under. All right. Another thing I want to touch on, I talked a number of times in the recent past, about subconscious. And what I was saying in those videos is that the subconscious really, there is no such thing as a subconscious mind, which is a definition used very, very often by many. I see it on many videos and books. The subconscious mind and the conscious mind. And there is no such thing. There's only one mind and it's conscious. What the subconscious is basically a collection of experiences in your past. And it's not the experience itself that's stored there, it's your reaction to that experience. So if something scared you or something upset you or something, whatever, what is registered is your reaction at that time to that experience. And then when you try to make a decision about something, or your mind, in just like a computer's processor, starts to search the memory. See, okay, did I have something similar to that in the past? Because that's the quickest way to make a decision for the mind, instead of calculating and thinking, that can take hours. But if it needs to make a decision quickly, it will look in there. And if there was some kind of a trauma or some experience or a good experience, whatever it is, you will instantly react that way. So this is what the subconscious is. And, a couple of years ago, I ran into this video by Mell Robbins, I think, Mell Robin, or Robbins, I can't remember. She's very famous in this motivational field. And she had this thing called the 5-second rule. It's a TED video. I'll put a link here in the description today, so you can watch it. It's quite old, but it's very, very powerful. Good day, Robert. And what she's saying there is saying that any action that you want to take, you have to take it from the second that you decided that this is what you want to do. You have 5 seconds to execute it. And she actually says you should even count, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. Do it. And she doesn't explain why. I don't think she does. But this the way I see it is it works, and it works 100%. You know, try to, like, if you want to jump into, say, a very, very cold water in the winter, right? If you think too much, you won't do it, because your mind, after 5 seconds, will find that somewhere in the memory and say, you know, this is no fun. I don't want to do it. But if you do it before your mind can find that in the search, in your subconscious, then you can do it, because it cannot stop you. It's not there yet. Otherwise, the mind will find many, many reasons for you why you shouldn't jump in the water, right? It will tell you, know, you can get pneumonia. It will come up with the reasons, because the mind knows itself very well. And that's why this whole 5-second rule really, really works. And, you know, it works. Like, I use it many times to get out of bed, especially those dark winter days. You wake up at 6:30, even at 8, it's still kind of dark. So if you want to get out of bed, you have to do it in 5 seconds. And that connects to the subconscious thing. All right. Let's see what else I wanted to cover before I take your questions, and we can talk a little bit. Yeah. One just a metaphor I want to run by you, so you don't, because many people think that if we can eliminate all the bad, all the evil in the world, then we'll have a great world. If we can just leave the good, like the good people, the good everything, right? And in reality, it doesn't work that way. I would like you to imagine a bridge that's held, say, by ropes on both sides of it, and you walk on that bridge. One side is held by all the good in the world, and the other side is held by all the bad in the world. And they are just equally important for you to be able to walk on that bridge, because if one of those sides snaps, we are all gone. So you can only do good if there is bad. Okay? And you can only do bad if there is good. That's basically the bottom line. If there isn't that balance, then our reality will disintegrate. We won't have a world anymore. So instead of looking how to eliminate the bad, you have to look how to shift the balance a little bit. That all we can do is shift the balance, but we cannot eliminate one side, because the whole thing will fall apart. And you can also shift it only to a certain point, unless you know, I talked again many times about the ratio of personalities, and I talked about it also in my last video here about personalities. And what it is really is that the ratio between all the different personalities in the world, and I'm not talking about the personalities that you can find in science, like there is all kind of, I guess, the Hindu has some kind of a way to categorize personalities, and like there is many ways that, and they list all kind of, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about personalities. There is like more than, there is an infinite number of personalities when you start to go into the grays, right? And the ratio of all that never changes. So when the world had 1 million people or 1,000 people, and now that we have 7.8 or 9 billion people, that ratio never changed. And that's really what that bridge is all about, right? Because if the ratio changes, we'll change our reality completely. And our reality doesn't change because, again, like I described last time, is that the Greek philosophers are still 100% relevant, because we study them in university. If anybody goes to study philosophy, you know, we study all the Greek philosophers that lived 2,400 years ago, and that is still 100% relevant. So the only way that can be that way is because the ratio of personalities doesn't change. Otherwise, it would be totally irrelevant. Just like technology is not relevant because it changes all the time, right? So if we do want to change the world, then we we cannot do it by changing the ratio of personalities, but what we can do is change how this program called our reality, like what priorities does it give? Does it give it to the good or to the bad? Because today the way the system is running, and it's been like this, I think, since creation or Big Bang, whatever you want to call it, is that the ones that are strong, determined, like Trump is a good example, right? They usually win in this world. If you take the European colonialists that went and conquered Africa and America and all that, and basically destroyed the population there, they won because the system is actually tuned to give them the power. And the reason for it is that they brought change. The system wants change. The programmer wants change. That's what it's all about. And whoever brings the change gets a priority in the system. So how we can change it is by changing that program so that it starts to give more power, call it, to the spiritual people, to the thinking people, to the what we describe the good people. And that way we can change the reality right away without eliminating the bad, but reducing the tools they can use. And I will talk about it in the future, how that can be done, at least from my perspective. All right, so let's come to you, my friends. See, there is, for some reason, we don't get the numbers we used to get. Got only like 30 people here. Well, not only, that's quite a bit. Again, it's the quality that counts, I guess, not the quantity. I had a vision that told me don't look all your numbers on YouTube and all that. That doesn't mean anything. Look at the type of people you attract. And that's the key. All right. Do I know Marina? Let's see if we can bring it on the screen here. Yeah. So Rafael is asking, do I know Marina Jacobi? No, I don't. But I will look it up later today, and I'll see what it's all about. Hello, Linda. Oh. Scotland. Rafael. Hello, Manuela. Romaniste. Another word I learned in Romanian when I was a kid, I think it was maimuța, which maybe means monkey. I hope it's not your last time. Oh, you are Polish. Well, I thought so, because the L with the line like that is actually is more like a English W. Like the city of Lodz is actually Łódź, right? No, I'm from Poland, so that's why I know. Yeah. All right. Hello, Lori. Wow. You're watching videos while driving. That's dangerous. I'm sure you don't do it while you're driving. Hello, Vivian. Yeah, you caught me live. Wow, you're in Israel. Nice. Yeah, I wanted. Well, I didn't go there for 3 years, and right now I cannot go. I need to finish this business with my heart, which looks like maybe we can get it resolved without any surgeries. So we'll see. As soon as I resolve it, because I cannot buy health insurance, so I cannot really travel. Hello, Sabrina. Hello, Dario. Greeting from Switzerland. Hey, Sabrina is also from Switzerland, so you came side by side here. Sabrina and Dario, both from Switzerland. Interesting. Agafia. From Italy, right? Yeah. Radrad. Yeah, you're in the best place, probably. Beautiful weather there. Where is Radrad? Here, there. Good morning from Hawaii. Thank you, Dario. Can the loss of a Linda is asking here, loss of a loved one or sharp turn compromise or change your personality? Of course, of course. Any big wave that comes, which is call it energetic, right, will affect our personality forever. But I wouldn't call it compromise, because you don't really want. What happened here? Oh, there we go. You don't really want to stay with the same personality being fixed for your whole life. It's not going to be interesting. Oh. One of my sons, when he was little, told me multiple times how he was a ghost before he was born and was flying around looking for the right mother. And he chose me. Wow. Well, you must be really, really special, right? Hi, Sejal. Sejal or Sejal? Probably Sejal. Hi, Strawberry. Strawberry from Tokyo. Hello, Strawberry. Many people told me that personality is created for first 6 years of your life. Your home, parenting, play. No, it's not. It's affected, but it's not created. You see? Because if you look at, I talked about it many times. If you look at families that have more than one child, when they grow up and become adults, they are totally, totally different. Even twins are sometimes very different. But children are very different, and they all grow in the same house with the same parenting and the same plays, like with playmates and the same schools. I have 3 sons. There's absolutely nothing even close in their personalities. So traumas are built at that time, and they affect personality, but they don't change it. They shift it a little bit. Yes. Good day, Robert. Yeah, I already talked to you before. You made it so clear at last talks. Yes. Yeah, well, I just want to make sure that you understand what subconscious is, so you don't get some kind of a shrink that will tell you things which don't really work. Yeah, the 5 seconds. Okay, Manuela, Manuela saying, we know that the thoughts become things. Yes. Can proper, frequent affirmations on a positive mindset, no doubts, and with a clear intention, focus, bring up speed, up our intention? Absolutely. Everything, like, if thoughts are things, then, you don't have to elaborate anymore, right? Then just use your thoughts to create whatever things you like. Thank you, Robert. That's actually at my age, it's a very, very powerful compliment. How do you acquire magical power totally out of context? Or maybe I have been watching too much TV show. Well, it's. I said that in one of my recent Facebook posts, is that you can perform any magic as long as you believe that it's normal. Because as soon as you believe it's magic, you cannot do it. It goes over the line. The only time you can perform anything that's considered magic by others is if you believe it's normal. It's not magic for you. Because if it's magic for you, you cannot perform it. Just the word magic means impossible, right? So you have to find ways to convince yourself that it's not magic. Then it will just happen for you. How do we use persons to transcend an emotion? Personality-driven workplace. How do you use persons to transcend an emotion? I don't 100% understand the question, but if you're asking how do you use other people to transcend your emotions, well, if that's the question, then you have to use the emotion you have to that person. So if you find somebody that you really love and admire, it will change your mood right away if you think about that person, right? And the opposite is true too. If you think about somebody who really you cannot stand and drives you crazy, then it will put you into bad mood. So it changes, your emotions. It transcends your emotions right away. And again, it all comes from thinking. You choose your thoughts, and you choose who you're going to think about. Oh, my muta. Okay, is monkey. Okay, see, I remember because we when I was like in grade 3, 4, we were all newcomers to the country. There was absolutely nobody there that was actually born in Israel. We were all immigrants, and everybody spoke in their own language. So I learned Romanian, and they learned Polish because that's what I spoke, and so on. So I remember many words. Some of them I don't want to say here. Oh, I am an hour. Okay, I didn't know. That's right. I know that they changed the clock. Here I think they do it in November, either first or last weekend. Probably first weekend of November. So it will be next weekend, most likely. Hello from Dubai. Hello from Vancouver, Canada. Aria. Dubai must be nice and warm. Not like here. It's they call it now the atmospheric river. We get like really heavy rain for 24, 48, sometimes even for a whole week, which is actually good because the rain is late a month or month and a half this year, and we were quite worried. Everything started to become yellow. Lots of plants and young trees died, actually. Okay, so this is basically the same. I have the same answer like before. Another thing I can tell you, Lori, is that if there is somebody, say at work, that really, say, in your opinion, is bad to you, is always putting you down and cannot, doesn't really like you and so on, if you sit down and meditate on that person and think only good things about that person, try to find, there's always something good in everybody, right? So if you focus on all the good things and you think about it, their attitude towards you will change magically. Like you won't believe. All of a sudden they will start talking nicely to you. If you do that, just think about them, positive thoughts. If you do it a few times, it will change the whole atmosphere between you and that person. So usually what happens is that people, for example, that think that everybody hates them, they create an atmosphere, an environment that everybody actually kind of doesn't want to deal with them, right? And they create it by themselves because it's like at birth. When you come to the workplace, nobody knows you. So whatever happens after is created by you. Hey, Romania is on top mountain. On the map these days since Elon Musk is having a big Halloween party. Oh, a lot of billionaires and famous people at Dracula's castle in Bran. I didn't know that. Yeah, wherever Elon Musk goes, there is action there. Very unique personality. Hello, Nashville. Vivian, you have Romanian parents. Well, there you go. Sajal. Oh, and have you heard of universe is not locally real? It came out recently. I will look it up. I have all these comments stored, so I usually go and look at everything that people bring, because that's how I grow and learn. I cannot see everything. So you, in some ways, act as eyes and ears for me. Yeah, there's 10 years difference between us, and we are both grew up in very toxic family, mothers, father. Yeah, but again, it's it depends on if depends on your personality. You can go through. I know people that went through this kind of environments and they came out totally amazing people, right? And on the other hand, I know people that grew up in loving and warm and beautiful homes, and they become murderers. They became murderers. So it's all in the personality. Well, you are in the right place. And it's not fixing. Don't call it fixing, It's not fixing. This world, like I said before, needs all the characters, all the different personalities that exist. And none of the personalities is actually wrong. It's here because it is here to keep that balance. So there is no wrong. There's just different. So whatever, it is, to fix it is not the right word. Because then you imply that there is something to fix and you are broken. And nobody is broken. Yes, Robert, whatever you think about, you become. And that's why I say, you are where your thoughts are. So make sure your thoughts are where you want to be. Right? Actually, I didn't come up with that. I think it's written I read it in that book called Thoughts Are Things. What do I think about shrinks? Well, it's not. Listen, marketing is, everybody does marketing. There's nothing wrong with marketing, because if somebody spent 5 years studying psychology, they need to earn money from it. And the only way they're going to do it is by marketing, right? So the question is really at a higher level. And again, that's my very subjective perspective, is that psychology deals with the hardware mostly. It cannot deal with the software, even though it pretends to. It's at the end of the day, and I know it now from many people I talk to, you go to the psychologist, and psychologists are not allowed to, they will usually prescribe some kind of a pill for you. And they have pills for everything. Blue depression, red depression, this, that, lack of attention. Even children in school get pills today to be able to focus. So psychiatrists really these days are trying to fix the hardware. And like I said earlier in this video, the hardware is a reflection of the software. It's a reflection of the virtual. It doesn't really exist per se. So if you, it's like, I used that example before, so forgive me if you already heard it, but if you say work on a graphic design on the computer, right? And you design some kind of a chair, and it's on your screen, and you are on the keyboard, right? Typing the different codes, and you create the chair. Now, if you wanted to change something on that chair, let's say you wanted to change one leg to make it blue, you can either go to the keyboard and reprogram, or you can take some blue paint and paint it on the screen. It will also do it, right? So what really doctors and psychiatrists do is they are working on the screen. They are not working on the keyboard, at least at this stage. Some do. Like there are, again, I shouldn't generalize, because there is many psychiatrists and many physicians that actually work more on the emotional level, and those usually we say, oh, he's a great doctor because he's a human being, right? I'll tell you a story. I have this heart valve problem, whatever, so the cardiologist referred me to a surgeon, and I looked him up, and it turns out that he's like number one in Vancouver here. Oh, my ears got plugged. It happens when the atmospheric pressure changes, my ears get plugged. So I got a call from that surgeon a week ago or so. I guess today they don't really require face-to-face meetings anymore. So we had a phone conversation. And, he told me things that I really liked. Like he said, listen, I'm not in the business of operating on people. I'm in the business of trying to fix things. And maybe in your case, we can fix it some other way. And at the end of the meeting, I told him, I said, doctor, up until now, I read about you and I found out that you are top-notch, excellent surgeon. But now after our conversation, I also found out that you are top-notch, excellent human being. So this is the difference between a doctor that's trying to fix everything on the screen and a doctor that, or a psychiatrist that is trying to fix it through the keyboard. So it's a long answer, Manuela, to the shrink thing, but I hope it answers your question. Okay. Oponopono, yeah, that's the Hawaiian love system. Thank you. Mark, I haven't heard from you in a while. Mark is in South Africa. Thank you. Again, this is a very nice compliment. Oh, I see it on your smile here on the on the smiley. Thank you, Mark. Okay, I'm putting this on the screen just so it's probably easier for you to communicate, because it's hard to find those comments in the list, right? Split. I was in Split. That's Croatia. Yeah, I was in Split maybe 6 years ago. Beautiful. This whole Croatia is beautiful, unbelievable. Dracula. There you go. Vivian is a shrink. Not marketing well. Small world, eh? Send love to the places and persons you have issues with. The Hawaiian, use it to... Oh, that's what I just said, yeah. Yeah, that works. That's basically what I said about the workplace environment, right? Thank you, Raphael. You know, every compliment I get makes me stronger and gives me more ability, knowledge, and energy to come back and give you back, right? Mark has a question here. Is there such a thing as a sharp turn in a person's personality if someone seems continually on the wrong path? Okay, there is no wrong path. Okay, you put it, I see, in quotation marks. Are there a few words of wisdom you could share with them? Well, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's the simplicity. And I'll tell you a very quick story. Yesterday, Saturday, I go to the synagogue. And, every Saturday, actually 3 times a week, in the synagogue, we read the portion of the Torah. And because it's a new year now, so we started reading the Torah all over again. So it starts from the creation. It's the Bereshit, whatever, the first book in the 5th book of Moses. And the section we were reading yesterday was about Noah and his boat, right? The flood. And the rabbi, which I admire, a great person, he always has some kind of, call it summary of that portion. And he talks about, he says, why did Noah send the raven first and the pigeon or the dove second? And then he goes into all this philosophical, what the raven, symbolizes and what the dove, okay. I didn't want to interrupt him while he was talking, but we have lunch usually. We sat and I said, Shmulik, that's the rabbi, I said, there is another famous rabbi that has a different interpretation to this. And he says, what is it? I said, what it is the raven was closer to Noah when he was going to send somebody outside to check if the water is still. So he grabbed the raven. So, the moral of it, what I'm saying is everything at the end of the day, Mark, is the simplicity of it. So if a person, wants to make a sharp turn in their personality, they have to make a sharp turn in their reality. Okay, it's a very simple thing. It's like no need to complicate it. If you do something really drastic in your reality, you will affect your personality big time. right? If you decide, you're in South Africa right now, if you decide to immigrate to another country, let's say, which is extremely different from where you are, within a month, your personality will change, right? Because you made a sharp turn in your reality. And that's the only way to do it. There is no shortcuts and there is no pills. So that would be my answer, like, a quick one. Yeah, that's important to show here. I'm sure, again, because the fact, again, I don't want to compliment myself, but the fact, Vivian, that you are here shows that you are like that doctor I talked to, right? That you are more than just a professional. You're also a human being. And that's really the combination of the two. It has enormous power, but they have to be combined. I'm sure you will agree with me on that, right? My book, that's a good question. I always, every few days I write a little bit and then I get into other things, but it will come, because that's really a project that I think from the programmer, there is high pressure for me to get it out. Chris, how would you act when you are in love with a person that's apparently in love with somebody else? You shoot the other person. I'm just kidding. Well, at the end of the day, you have to, in the eyes of that one that you are competing on, like, right? You have to, I'll tell you a story. I like stories. There's these two guys walking in the forest. Actually, could be here in Vancouver, right? And all of a sudden they hear a bear coming, and then they can see a bear coming towards them. So one of the guys sits down and puts his running shoes on, and the other guy says, well, you cannot outrun a bear. And he says, no, all I need to do is outrun you. So this is your answer here, okay? You just have to outrun the other person. There is no other solutions here. You have to figure out what the person that you really love, what's important to them, right? And be better than the other person in that area. That's the only way. The only way you will fix it. Just learn to rewrite the code to get different results. The definition is instantly insanity is doing the same thing over and over. Well, it's the code is your action, is your thoughts, and the actions that it generates. This is the code for this question. Well, that sounds very encouraging. Sometimes I feel like that, but sometimes I feel also like a total loser. It's but when I do feel like a total loser, I always have that hook that I leave outside, which is a memory of, like, say, today's life, right? I keep it handy, so when I do get into the dark mood, I go back to that time when you, Robert, told me that I'm a Superman, and it pulls me out of it. Jack, we just spoke a couple days ago. Love to know your thoughts on lucid dreaming. Do you do it? Should bring back to. Jack, I would love to do it, but I never managed to do it. And lucid dreaming is really, from everything that I read, it's also mentioned many times in reality transurfing. It's in essence like coming out of, I guess, of the matrix here, because if you are dreaming and you know that you are dreaming, so here it would apply amazingly. I mean, we assume that we are dreaming, we can talk about it, but we don't really know. So if we could know here in this dream, I think it's a dream, that if this could be a lucid dream, we could actually achieve anything, right? This is just like in the Matrix when he can jump over, these two buildings as soon as he believes in it. But no, I never experienced a lucid dream in my whole life, and maybe one day. Taimnis. Oh, so okay. That about Kabbalah. Kabawi. I will look that up too. All right, my dear friends. Lovely, beautiful to have you all here. And yeah, I will bring you some amazing stuff. Just stay tuned. I'm coming, like my mind gets clearer and clearer by the day. So very soon I'll be able to come up with some. Well, when we talk about or when I talk about this, how to change the preferences that the universe gives to the different personalities, there is the key to the change of the world. All right. All the best to all of you. Okay, there's one more question here from Chris. Let's see. Mine's regarding my question be in a more reality trans-surfing sense. You said that you can't really visualize loving person because everyone is free. You said that you can't really visualize. No, I don't think I said anything like that. Visualize loving a person because everyone is free. No, you okay? You can visualize yourself loving a person, but you know, everybody is free, but everybody is not free as well. We'll talk about it some other time. We are not free. All right, so we close here. Thank you, and see you next time. I'll probably do another live in a couple of weeks, and in between I'll put maybe 1 or 2 videos. I'm trying to make 1 video a week, and this is where I want to be. Like every Sunday, whether I go live or not, I want to publish a video. So I will try to do that. All right. All the best again. Enjoy this reality because there is no other reality.